So on 4th of July of this year, 2014, Animal Control received a report. Mr. Nowakowski's dog, Henry, it's a tan and white St. Bernard mix, was involved in a bite to my witness, Mr. Haywood. The dog ran off the property and did bite Mr. Haywood on his leg. Didn't require any stitches or anything along those lines. However, in the past, on May 27th, Henry was involved in a prior bite, another minor bite to a delivery person to Mr. Nowakowski's house. So a warning letter was issued at that time, so the agency did take the potentially dangerous order approach to this situation since it already had a warning letter and was involved in another public safety instance. The dog actually is here in our custody. It has been here since July 7th when Mr. Nowakowski did bring Henry in for the impoundment.
Okay.
Can we hear Mr. Haywood? Do you want to briefly tell us kind of what happened?
Walking through the neighborhood, casual Saturday, had my headphones on, making 4th of July plans with my friends. Got off the phone, listening to music. I was headed back home and just kind of cut through like this little field. It's kind of behind his house, but the field kind of cuts through the field behind his house and it goes straight to my house. As I was walking, of course I'm looking forward. I see his door open and I just see the dogs come outside. Not afraid of dogs, so I didn't go running anywhere. I just simply kept walking because the dog was like running in circles in the field. And then the dog looked up and he spotted me and he started running full speed towards me. When he started running full speed towards me, I looked up at him and he was on his deck with his other dog. I'm assuming his other dog was on a leash. This dog wasn't. I just completely stopped because I know normally like if a dog doesn't know you, he'll run up, he'll sniff you. So I just put my hands up like this. The dog gets maybe as close to I am to her, shows his teeth, growls, reaches for my leg. I swatted down, he backed up just a few feet, showing his teeth and growling. And some kid, like a couple doors down, I guess, just ran over because he had never left his deck. And the other kid, I guess, was having a cookout or whatever. Some kid came over and grabbed the dog by the collar. And me and the dog just kind of had to stare off while the kid was running over, and he just grabbed him by the collar and he took him in the house. I went home and, sorry, go ahead.
When you describe a deck and all, is this townhouse neighborhood, a single family? Is this townhouse?
Townhouse.
Okay.
I didn't actually know I got bit at first. I didn't know I was bit. I thought it was like dog drool at first because I had on black sweatpants. I went home and I was about to go get in the shower and took my sweatpants off and my leg was covered in blood. So I don't know. I never like talked to him. I never really see him that much. I do know my mom knows where he lives. So I called my mom and asked my mom what was his address. And I just walked to his house and showed him what happened.
What was the nature of your injuries? I mean, can you sort of just tell, other than a dog bite? I mean, severe? You had stitches or anything?
No stitches.
Nothing like that?
It's deeper than what they actually thought it was going to be. Actually, I don't know if you guys ever seen the pictures.
Yeah, the pictures are in the file.
Okay.
Did you go to the hospital or a doctor?
I had to go to the patient first. I actually had to go twice. Because the first time they thought it was kind of like a flesh thing, but it got kind of discolored after a while, so I had to go back again.
Have you had any interaction with the dog before? Seen the dog?
I knew he had the dog, but I never had any interaction with him because if I go out, I don't normally walk in my neighborhood. It was just one of those things, it was a nice day and I just wanted to do it. Not that dog per se. I mean, I know the other dog attacked my mom's dog, but not really. I mean, I don't even see much of him because I work all the time, so.
Officer, anything would you like to add?
No, sir.
Okay.
So you guys took possession of the animal?
Yes, Mr. Nowakowski was very compliant, brought the dog in for the mandatory impoundment. Like I said, that was on the 7th, it was the Monday he brought him in.
Still
and
here?
The dog has been here since, yes.
Any additional questions from the members of the commission? Okay. All
Was the
right.
dog on a leash, Colin?
No.
Well,
You're up.
You're up.
at the time of the incident, I had taken my other dog outside. He was on a long leave. I let him go to the bathroom off the deck. I was in the middle of transferring the dogs. I put the leash, walking leash on the first dog, had let Henry out onto the deck. And
Henry's our dog in question.
Henry is the dog in question. And as I was reaching down for him, he took off and he made a beeline to Mr. Haywood. He wasn't out, he wasn't out back running around. He just took off the deck. At first, I thought he was either chasing a rabbit or chasing a cat. I didn't see Mr. Haywood when I originally was bringing the other dog up, because I had been facing out that way, so I did not see him. All I saw from my perspective, I tried to get my other dog back in the house. I got him in the house. I turned around. By that time, Henry was at Mr. Haywood. I did not see him bite or go to bite. All I saw was him barking and standing in front of him. I do not deny Henry bit him. There was another witness that did confirm that Henry reached in and nipped him. I called Henry. Henry came back. Actually, the witness, or the person Mr. Haywood was talking about, it actually is a witness here, Noah, was the young man that came out. By the time I had gotten to the edge of the deck, when I called Henry, he had started to turn and walk back to the house. I'll ask the question of Noah if I can. What did you see when you came out?
So, if you know how townhomes are, my home is 2 units away from Mr. Nowakowski's, so we're very close. And I walk Henry regularly, so I know him very well. And my father was out on our porch, and he had heard Henry's bark, and he knew that, I think he saw him run off Mr. Nowakowski's porch. So he called me. I was inside the house, and he just told me to go get him because I know Henry very well. And when I went out, by the time I got to him, he was already on his way back to the porch. So I did not see him approach. I'm sorry, I forgot your last name.
Haywood.
Mr. Haywood. I didn't see him approach him or anything, or even bite him. But when he was on his way, yeah, so I just saw him coming back. And as a slight kind of character witness for Henry, I've known him for a very long time, and I've been a regular. I've been walking for years. He's not a regularly aggressive dog. I've actually never seen him bare his teeth to anyone. I'm not denying that he did. Just saying it's very uncharacteristic of him. I'm not sure why he did in this case, which I'm believing that he did because Mr. Haywood had said that. I'm also not trying to say anything against his character, or not his character, but his testimony, but it was just very interesting that when I grabbed onto Henry and was bringing him back to the porch, he had said, he was calling over to Mr. Nowakowski, saying that his other dog, Cameron, a different dog, had attacked one of his mother's dogs, and it was just, I hope this isn't all out of retaliation for a completely separate incident. If I was bitten by a dog, I would be, and I understand I didn't know this, but he had said that he didn't realize he was bitten. But if I was just bitten by a dog, I'd be very, that's all I would be thinking about. It was just interesting that the first thing he said was, your other dog attacked my mother's dog. So it just seemed very, like it wasn't very a part of what happened.
that what was said? I mean, as far as you recall?
Um,
I mean, you say yes or no, I mean,
It's-
we don't want to get too bogged down.
we
with it.
definitely won't get like the last case. We,
Some
I
are
just-
long
the
and some
only-
ain't.
My only knowledge of Henry's owner is because of the attack from the other dog. I'm not blaming this dog for what that dog did. I don't care, because I don't hate dogs. I'm just not a dog lover. And there are people like that. And when I see them, I don't run from them. I don't taunt them. I did what I did that day. I stop, I let them sniff me, and then I keep walking. I don't care about the other dog attack. I wasn't even home then. It doesn't matter to me. But I do think it's a problem when you have a St. Bernard and a pit bull, and the pit bull is known as the aggressor. And they're both in the same home. And now they both have attacked people.
I will disagree. The pit bull's never attacked anyone. He did attack your mom's dog, which I made restitution for, and also went to the hospital with her and spent the time in the hospital with her. And I also told her at the time that she needed to do what she needed to do. If she was going to report the fight to animal control, I wasn't going to stop her. I wasn't going to talk her out of it.
Well,
that was her. That was her.
I think Maryland
Decision.
law requires a physician or any attending physician has to report a dog bite. So it's not a
Well, this
situation-
was animal on animal, and he went to the vet.
Oh,
This
okay.
was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
So I don't want the focus to be on the other
Correct.
animal,
Yeah.
because we're talking about Henry.
mhm.
This is out of character for Henry. This neighborhood knows my dog. A lot of the people you see here have known
Well-
this dog since he was a puppy.
I mean, it's, you know,
And actually, I'd like to make a comment to the prior, if I can explain the prior incident.
yeah, I wanted to
because-
hear that because, again, we did take these steps of progression and, we have a documented
Right.
incident with the dog and now we have another documented incident with the dog. Both involved bites with humans. And, we would take this natural role
I
here
understand.
and that's where we are.
As I mentioned before, I am sincerely sorry this happened. I do not train my dogs to do this. I don't condone I don't want my dogs doing this. And I try very hard to be a responsible dog owner.
So let's hear about the warning letter so we can get some.
The prior
background on it
incident.
all.
And I may have to stand so I can show you positioning, but Mr. Muhammad Iqbal had come to my house on several occasions prior to the incident. I have a tendency to order dinner out because I'm coming home late. And my first chore of the day is to get the dogs outside, get them for a walk, and sometimes it runs late. So I've ordered from his place of business on multiple occasions, and he had been to my house on multiple occasions. In the night of the incident, and I will state, excuse me, I'm going to stand. If this is the door to my house, I have a counter here, and then the foyer goes back about 4 feet. When anybody comes to the door, the dogs are supposed to lay down, and they stay in that position. Okay. Even since this incident with Mr. Iqbal, the dogs have been in that position. I haven't had any further incidents of the dogs charging or anything like that. On this occasion, I open the door, I open the screen door, it opens up this way, and he hands me my food. I start looking in the bag and the order's not right, and I'm trying to tell him the order is not right. He's talking on his Bluetooth to somebody. I got a little frustrated. I said, okay, let me close the door. I start to close the door like this. His foot goes in the door and his knee goes in the door to block me from shutting the door. I noticed that because I tried to pull the door and I couldn't get it to shut. I didn't hear it click, and it wasn't coming closed. He's got his foot in there, he's got his knee in there. When he did that, when he started to make a step inside the house, Henry stood up. When Henry stood up, the door got ripped out of my hands. The door came wide open. He starts running and screaming, and his hands are going all over the place. He runs to his car's on a diagonal, he's about 40 feet away. Car's running, the door's open. He runs to the car with Henry behind him barking at him. I never saw, and I'm right there trying to get hold of the dog. I never see him reach in to bite him. The man gets in his car. His butt is in the seat for about all of 1 second, and he turns around and runs back towards my house with the dog chasing him. Runs across my front yard, runs in my house and locks the door. So I'm standing out here with 2 dogs. I put Henry down on the ground, put him in the down position. I get him to come out of the house, and he's telling me my dog bit him. Says, okay, hang on a second. I put the dogs in the house. I put a pit bull in his crate, put Henry in the house, locked the doors, shut the doors. I asked to see the bite, and he has a scratch on his ring finger about this long. I said, I don't really think that's a bite, but he swore it was a bite. I paid my bill, thinking he's going on his way. As sorry. I don't think that's a bite. I went in the house. About 10 minutes later, as I'm trying to eat, I could see through the drapes, emergency lights, and they're coming towards the house. And I get up and open the front door. I look outside. Mr. Ekbel's still sitting in his car with the door open.
He'd probably call the police.
And there's an ambulance.
An ambulance, yeah.
Okay. There were 2 EMTs in the ambulance. They asked what happened. They saw him first. He comes over and he shows them the scratch. It was a young male EMT and a young female EMT. The young man asked him, what do you want us to do with this? He said, I want to go to the hospital. Do you really want to go to the hospital? Yes, I want to go to the hospital. The female EMT took him around back, clean up the wound, I guess, give him a Band-Aid. And the EMT's talking to me, asking me what happened. I said, told him what happened. And he's kind of in disbelief. He said, I can't believe we're going to the hospital for a scratch. So as they're pulling out, police officer shows up. They stop at the court. There's some discussion. Obviously, I don't hear it because it's at the end of the court. Police officer comes up, asked me what happened. I said he's claiming that, kind of told him what happened very quickly. And he's claiming the dog bit him. And that was basically the end of it until I think, my God, I don't recollect any calls from animal control or investigation. I did get the letter dated July 9th about the May 27th incident. But there was no further discussion. Nobody heard, my side of what was going on. I ended up, there was one phone call about 3 days later from Mr. Iqbal, and it basically was threatening, said if I don't pay his medical bills and the ambulance, that he was going to take my dogs away. And since then, that's been really the only contact. I paid his bills, came to about $784, and that was it.
So let's get to this order here. I mean, obviously, you're appealing the order. I'm guessing you're appealing the whole order on
Yes.
the basis that you don't believe your dog's potentially dangerous.
And I brought plenty of character witnesses for him.
I'm with you. I'm going to throw it out to you. In the event that the commission cannot come to a unanimous decision on potentially dangerous, have you gone through this thing?
Yes, yes.
Well, let's talk about that because, we're going to be presented with some challenges on that. I'm being brutally honest with you.
Sure.
Okay?
I have no objections. In fact,
Mhm.
I had planned on putting a fence up. I do
Yes.
have a contract with Fence and Deck Connection. I have the paperwork here if you'd like to make copies. I do have a contract. It's going to take about 4 to 5 weeks before they can get the fence up.
Well, now, when you're thinking that, that means the dog's going to be here 4 or 5 more weeks, or you're going to have to get a crate,
Or I have an alternative. I do have a crate for the dog.
or an outside run to the standards
Okay.
that meet this.
What I was going to ask for in the meantime, until I can get the fence up, I have a deck. It stands about 4.5 feet high. It has a gate on it. And I've actually brought some locks to put on the gate. Would that be sufficient until I get the fence up?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I can't answer that right now. I mean, we can't.
You know,
I do have a picture that he sent of the deck if the commission wants to have it for a visual.
I've taken the old latch off and I brought the other latches to get recommendations from you guys.